Hello everybody, my name is Alexander Kazina, aka Kozibear, and I'd like to thank you for joining me this evening for the season finale of Season 4 of Kozibear's Cooking. This season has been a lot of things. It's been incredibly arduous at times. It's really hurt me. It's forced me day in and day out to work on all sorts of things, revise my plans, pick up ingredients, but it's been a lot of fun, and we've come to the end of the run. That run being a 7-episode show that normally you'd be able to watch on twitch.tv/Kozibear Live every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time between January 31st and March 13th. I'm reading off the copy, but obviously this is the last episode of Season 4, so last time you'll be able to do so for now. There will be future seasons, but not for the immediate future. Of course, you can also watch all those episodes after they air live as VODs on my YouTube channel. They publish every Saturday following their initial broadcast, so do definitely look forward to that for this episode. And of course, you can also check out all my prior episodes as well. For the final episode of Kozibear's Cooking, Season 4, I knew that I needed to go big or go home. And I remembered, you know what? In the prior seasons of Kozibear's Cooking, I was a big fan of a dish that I myself created, which I realize is a little bit like, that's kind of lame, that's kind of cheap. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that dish was the pizza whistle. This is, of course, a dish that was originally created on the comedy button that had no physical form until I gave it that physical form. That physical form, as you can see in the upper left corner of the screen in front of you, being a whistle-shaped stromboli, basically a pizza tube, shaped to look like a whistle. Definitely doesn't look like anything else, nothing else whatsoever. And we're going to be making that today, but there's going to be a little bit of a twist that perhaps you've already figured out by now by looking at the title for this particular video and or stream, depending on what platform you watched it on. We are going to be making Montreal-style pizza whistles. Now, what does that mean? Shape of the pizza whistle is going to be exactly the same, but the contents are going to be a little bit different. Typically, in the past, I've tended to use standard pizza ingredients. A little bit of tomato sauce, some cheese, pepperoni, maybe some ground sausage, some ground Italian sausage. Sometimes I've gotten a little bit frisky. I definitely did a couple of pizza whistles in the past where I used a mixture of like spinach and ricotta cheese, and that was pretty tasty in its own right, but that's not out of the realm of like possibility when it comes to pizzas and pizza adjacent cousins. For tonight's pizza whistle, we are going to be doing something very special. We're going to be making two of these bad boys, and we're going to be using two different types of mustards as the base sauce in both of them. Because what I decided is, if we want to make a truly Montreal-like pizza whistle, we need to go with perhaps the most classically iconic Montreal dish there is, and that is, of course, the smoked meat sandwich. As you can see, I'm holding out a box of Montreal smoked meat used to create smoked meat sandwiches. You have no idea how expensive this was. Like, I'm really happy that I got this because this is like very authentic for a grocery store bought product, but holy shit, this shit is expensive, so it better be fucking good. Plan is, I'm gonna put in one pizza whistle a bold and spicy prepared mustard sauce, which I'm holding up right over here. In the other pizza whistle, I'm gonna put a creamy mustard sauce recipe, courtesy of CotterCrunch.com, which I will be getting into in a little bit. After that, I will be putting in some Montreal-style smoked meat, which is sort of like Reuben-style smoked meat, which, as you can see, I already have prepared here. I'm going to be putting some shredded up mozzarella cheese. Sorry, I forgot that my mozzarella cheese is waiting over my cooler for the time being. I'm going to be putting a little bit of bacon. After I did a little bit of searching online to see what kind of stuff I would want to put in a pizza with smoked meat. And of course, I'm going to be putting a couple of sausages cut up. As you can see, we have kosher dill pickles. This is another brand, like the smoked meat, that's like very authentically Montreal. You can't accuse me of being any less Montreal than this. And of course, I'm also going to put a few dabs with both pizza whistles of whole grain Dijon mustard, just a few dabs. I was partially inspired to do this because actually a couple of weeks ago on my birthday, I went to a great pizzeria near where I work called Pizzeria Magpie, and I actually had a smoked meat pizza there. And I was very surprised because eating it, I was like, well, this is very tasty. They definitely went with a very tangy tomato sauce for this one. And I learned after the fact, no, there was no tomato sauce involved. They seemingly entirely used mustard as the base for the pizza. And that made me realize, maybe we can make this work. Maybe I can take Pizzeria Magpie's artistic mastery and transfer it over to my own cooking exploits here on the channel in making the most unique and delicious pizza whistle that we've ever made here. So let's get right to it. Okay, so there's a lot of different things that we got to do. A lot of different things that we got to do. We got to make our mustard sauce. We got to prepare a bunch of our ingredients, like shredding our cheese, cutting up our pickles, cutting up our meats. We, of course, also got to prepare our oven to be able to cook these things. I think the first thing that we're going to do, however, is we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to deal with our dough. Give me just a moment so that I can move this out of the way. We're actually going to need to move a few things out of the way. So, of course, you're going to make a pizza whistle stream. You got to make your own proper dough. I'm not going with any store-bought dough, although I did have a little bit of store-bought dough just as a precaution in case, for whatever reason, I wasn't able to make my own dough. What you're looking at right here is 5 cups worth of flour of my own pre-made dough using the recipe that I've used many times in the past on this channel and in my own everyday life. This has been proofing, rising, for a total of, I want to say, like 20 hours by this point. I basically prepared it late last night at 11:30 p.m. EST, and it has been rising in this bowl ever since. Most people say you only need like 3 or 4 hours to let your pizza dough rise, but it's totally fine if you want to go for the full 24 or even longer. And so that's what we're going to do exactly here right now. We have let this pizza dough rise long enough. I am going to remove the plastic wrap and elastic that is keeping it in place. I am going to put a bit of flour on the surface, and then I am going to knead it for just a few minutes. And after it has been properly kneaded, I am going to divide it up into 2 equal balls. I'm going to put it on this cutting board right over here. And then I'm going to cover it with a slightly damp towel that... Where did I put the slightly damp towel? Here it is. It's actually not damp yet. I will dampen it before I put it on there, just so that things don't dry out. And basically, over the course of the next, 45 minutes to an hour, our 2 little pizza dough balls, while I prepare all the other ingredients, will slowly rise and be more pliable and easier to work with for when I finally need to use them. All right. Smells good. Looks really good too. Move this out of the way. This again. We should get a little bit of flour. Don't necessarily need. Also, I'm gonna just put this sideways like that, so it's a non-issue. Move these things out of the way a little bit, just to give ourselves as much space to work with. It's not going to be a huge amount of space, but that'll be enough. There we go. That should be about enough. About enough. All right. So first things first, we got to punch it. Get all the air out of here. So we've punched it sufficiently. We're going to grab it all up like that. I'm going to put our bowl over here to the side, schlep it over there. And we are going to give this thing some nice kneading. Usually what you want to do is for about 2 minutes to fully get all the air out of this, but obviously we'll, I was going to say play it by ear, but ear is not exactly it. I mean, it is true that we can hear the air being exhumed from the pizza dough as we knead it. So I guess it's kind of by ear. Also, I got to be careful. I don't want any of the dishes on this table to accidentally go tumbling down. That would be very bad. Very bad. So one thing about this table is good for the most part, but this table is a little on the wobbly side. I don't feel like I assembled it incorrectly. I think it's just maybe not as sturdy of a table as I originally was perhaps led to believe it would be. Anyways, it's not a big deal. Someday in the future, I'll have a nice brand spanking new set where I can properly do these sorts of dough kneading things. I'm not going to need to worry about this. Let's see, it's 8:41. At 8:42, I will stop and trust that my dough has been sufficiently de-aerified. There we go. All right. All right. I'm going to grab the cutting board over here. This is actually an opportunity for me to actually use the scale because I want to make sure that my two dough halves are as even as possible. So I can actually use this to help me out in that regard. Okay. Okay, let's see here. That is 18.87 ounces. And this is 23.60 ounces, huh? All right. 22.04 ounces. And with that, 20.48. All right. 21.24. 21.32. Close enough. Perfect. Okay. We'll do these one by one. Right, number one. Also, I don't need this box anymore of the smoked meat, so I'm just going to put it over to the side as well. Sorry, there's a lot of things going on today's table, and so I just want to make sure that we have enough space to do everything. So I can use this to sop up some of the... There we go. Wheat accidentally escaped. And there we go. Alrighty, I'm just gonna go off screen real quick so I can dampen up this towel over here. Don't you worry, I'll still be in your ear holes, providing you with the sweet, dulcet tones of my voice, but don't you worry. Come season 5 of Kozibear's Cooking, whenever that's gonna be, I will definitely have a new sync cam installed. Because I think the streams are just all the much better when you have a sync cam, something of that ilk that can, you know, provide you with a little bit more context whenever I'm over the sink doing stuff there. All right. When's Kozibear's Cooking Season 5 going to be? I mean, we'll find out. I will say, definitely not going to be next week. Definitely not going to be next month. Definitely not going to be 2 months from now. I definitely will do it once I've arrived at a point in time where I feel like, okay, I have a clean enough schedule that I can really devote all my time and attention to making this as good as it's going to be. I will not... Kozibear's Cooking Season 4 is not going to be a dramatic revamp of Kozibear's Cooking the way that the jump was from Season 3 to 4. Like, I'm mostly going to use the same graphics that you see on screen right now. But there are a number of things that I want to improve. There are a number of things I want to get better at, like promoting my stuff on, like, you know, your TikToks and your YouTube. Which, by the way, I don't know what's going to go on there with TikTok. I mean, it doesn't seem like they're going to be getting rid of TikTok in Canada per se. Also, I'm trying to figure out where to put this down. I guess I'll just put it down here. Hold on. They're not going to get rid of TikTok in Canada necessarily, but if they get rid of it in the United States, I mean, it's going to be a problem for me because it means that I have no US people to appeal to, and that's going to be unfortunate. All right. That is taken care of. You know what? Let's go ahead and let's take over our creamy mustard sauce recipe next. This comes from cottercrunch.com. Here's what they have to say. Quick, creamy, and delicious, this mustard sauce recipe comes together in 5 minutes or less for the only condiment you'll ever need. Uses a dip, marinade, and more. Ingredients. 1/2 to 2/3 of a cup of mayonnaise, 1/4 of a cup of Dijon mustard, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of sweet paprika, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. Optional, 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground mustard. We don't have it. 1/4 of a cup of olive oil. Optional. 1 teaspoon of dried herbs, such as chives, parsley, dill, etc. 1 to 2 tablespoons of honey or agave nectar. Kosher salt to taste, pepper to taste. Add all the ingredients into the bowl of a food processor. We don't have a food processor in front of us. We're just going to use a fork. Pulse until smooth. We'll just whisk until smooth. Adjust the seasonings to taste. All right. Let's go ahead and let's bring our top-down camera back in here. In fact, not only that, let's zoom in a little bit, seeing as how we now have the opportunity to do so. Let's see here. I guess we might as well just go in order. So let's go ahead and let's start with our mayonnaise. Good old mayonnaise. I'm going to try to be conservative with this recipe. Whenever it says like use a 1/2 cup or 2/3 of a cup, I'm just going to use 1/2 cup. Fortunately, the mayonnaise, it's not a new mayonnaise jar. It's a little tough to get the mayo out of it. I can put a little bit more. Also, ooh, this mayonnaise jar has gotten a little bit worse for wear. Okay, I think that's fine. Let me just use a little bit of paper towel to wipe up the top of this. Getting mayonnaise into the measuring cup, not that hard. Getting it out of the measuring cup, very hard. Don't want to use the scraper this early on. I think I might need to. One sec. All right. I feel a bit bad using the scraper this early and just for the mayonnaise, but we had to use it. Had to be done. Okay. 1/4 of a cup of Dijon mustard. Whole grain Dijon. Or no, wait, no. I'm gonna use not the grain mustard. I'm gonna use this, the Dijon mustard that's the non-grain version. Okay. Where is... Here we go. I'm just going to wipe the mustard off of this thing. So I can reuse the same knife for the Dijon. Okay. Getting it to flatten down so you can see how far you are at 1/4. A little bit tough. Okay, I think that's about good. Thankfully, I can just use the same scraper as last time to get it all in. This recipe says 5 minutes, but like with all the complicated shit that you gotta put in measuring cups, it's like weirdly kind of more than that. This recipe should be a little bit more honest. It's 5 minutes when you've done it 500 times and you've perfected this recipe. Like, come on. So you gotta like continuously wipe up both the knife you're using and the scraper. Come on. All right. We actually don't need this Dijon mustard anymore, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it over there. Okay. Yeah, I think that's about good. All right. 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. Ooh, here we go. Wondering if at some point I should maybe get a new batch of onion powder. So I've had this for a while. It's not like it looks like it's gone bad or smells like it's gone bad, but... Onion powder is taken care of. Perfect. See, that's how it should go. That's how long each and every ingredient in this recipe should go. 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of sweet paprika. Oh no, where is... Oh, there it is. I was like, did I forget to bring the sweet paprika down? Not the case. I'm going to do a heaping 1/4 of a teaspoon of this stuff. I don't love paprika that much. Okay, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. I actually went ahead and just squeezed the lemon ahead of time because I figured better to do that than to like just bring down the whole lemon this time and like squeeze it using the lemon juice, or just better to make my life easier. And there we go. There's 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. Probably should drink the rest of this at some point. Maybe not right away though. Optional, 1/4 a teaspoon of ground mustard. We don't have it. Okay, here we go. Our 1/4 of a cup of olive oil. I think we actually have just enough for exactly 1/4 of a cup left in this thing. There we go. It's actually slightly more, but we're good. And down the hatch we go, and we'll use our scraper to get some of the extra oil clinging to the bottom of the thing to get in there. Get over there! There we go. All right, perfecto. 1 to 2 tablespoons of honey or agave nectar. The honey that we have is a little bit old, which isn't an issue because honey doesn't really spoil. The problem is that it's a little bit on the grainy side. I will start with 1 tablespoon, see how much of the stuff we can get. All right, it's a nice heaping tablespoon of the stuff, but I did get a lot of the more grainier honey in there. I might need to maybe I'll put it in the zap it in the microwave for like a minute or two, or maybe I won't. We'll see how the texture of this thing comes out after I whip it up. Hold on. Needed a plate. Put some of my utensils on after using them. All right. Let's see here. Kosher salt to taste and pepper to... Shit. How did this get in the thing? I don't remember putting it in there. I'll have to rewatch the stream replay to see how that happened. It's probably when I went to move that shit. Okay. All right. A little bit of salt to taste. Oh, there's also, I can put some teaspoon of dried herbs. So I'll have to put some of that in as well. I think that's enough for the salt. Pepper, I'll grind a little bit. There we go. All right. So I got dillweed, and I got some parsley. It says we can use chives, parsley, and dill. So what I'll do is I'll do like half a teaspoon of the parsley and half a teaspoon of the dillweed. Should probably wipe this down though, because it got a little bit covered in the mixture. Also, I should probably bottle up the honey. All right. Half a teaspoon of the dill weed. Taken care of. And half a teaspoon of the parsley. Let me do this over the garbage can. Have in the corner. There we go. All right, and now we're at the point where we can properly mix it up. I'll use a spoon. Just trying to make sure that none of it spills at first. You can see why they recommend just use like a hand mixer or a blender or something, because it's definitely taking its time to come together. I don't know how long the emulsion will last. I might have to perhaps mix it up a little bit later. The honey doesn't seem, like the graininess of the honey doesn't really seem to have seeped into the rest of the dish, which is good. Try a little bit of it. Not bad, not bad. It's a little, It's not as sweet as I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be really sweet. It's not quite the flavor profile I was expecting. It still tastes very Dijon-y, which I don't mind. It's just not exactly what I was expecting. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to bottle up parsley, put it with all the other things we don't need anymore. I'm actually going to add just a touch more salt and a little bit more pepper. So I think that this mix would appreciate their presence a little bit. You know what? I'm surprising myself saying this, but I think I'm actually going to put a little bit more honey. I think that the extra tablespoon of honey will actually bring this thing together. There we go. There we go. because I think it was just a little bit too mustardy, a little bit too salty. Not like I over salted it, but like more like the kind of like bitterness of the other ingredients were playing a little bit too much of a part. And I think that the additional bit of honey that I just added will help mellow the flavor out a little bit more. I could also put like a little bit more paprika. All right. Okay, I think I'll go with that. I don't know, it's the favorite mustard sauce I've ever created or tasted, but I think it's adequate enough that I think we have what we're looking for. I'm gonna now take a very quick break. I'm gonna go upstairs and I'm gonna turn on the oven to 400 degrees, because that is what is required of us via the recipe that I have in front of me right here, which we will get to once I come back from the break. And then we'll come back down and we will continue with preparing our ingredients. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back, which means that it is time to prepare some more ingredients. Let's move a couple things out of the way. I think we should get around to chopping up some of our bacon first. I'm gonna go ahead and say that I think that's where we should probably start with this. Made these just before the stream, just standard President's Choice branded bacon. Nothing much else to it. I have a total of 10 strips of this stuff. So a total of 5 per pizza whistle. Although we might use less if we feel like it's, you know, getting a little bit too packed in there. Better to over-prepare than to under-prepare, so they say. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to kind of line them up to the best of my ability. I'm going to start chopping away. Okay. I feel like maybe I can do a quick lengthwise cut like this. And another one. Like this. There we go. Okay. This is the cup with the lemon juice from earlier that we didn't use up. I'm going to finish it off now. Wow. Huh. I've done that twice on this channel, by the way. Ugh. I'm a bit of a glutton for punishment. Okay. You know what we're going to do is... I know what we're going to do. We're going to put this bacon inside the bowl from whence it came. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this plate, which I was using for the covering the smoked meat, and we're going to put that on top. And then we're going to put the next several slices of bacon on top of that. You know what? For this bacon, I'm going to try a bit of a different strategy. I'm actually going to cut them lengthwise first. I actually, in preparing this bacon ahead of tonight's stream, I actually cooked it in the oven rather than frying it. I figured, you know what? I like frying up some bacon, but I find that it tends to get a little bit just all over the place, which I know that's the whole point. But I can do the same thing in the oven, and it will be comparatively relatively less gross and dirty everywhere. And I think slightly healthier for me, but I don't really know how that works. Okay. Same thing as before. All right. And onto the plate you go. There we go. Okay, what should we deal with next? You know what? What if we dealt with our pickles next? What if we dealt with our Moish's pickles? As soon as I open the darn plastic flap on top of this. Maybe I can actually use the knife to poke one of these things through. Bring it up to the surface. There we go. Okay, well, this is where things are going to get interesting, because, like, I don't want my pizza whistles to be overly pickly. I feel like that's a recipe to potentially ending up at, like, a pretty unappetizing creation, because I still want to eat these things, even if they don't turn out perfectly. Ah, damn it. I'll just... There we go. I'll grab it like that. I'm wondering if... I think maybe what I should do is I'll just start with 1.5 pickle per pizza whistle, and then I can always add more if I feel like, there's not enough green in here. That's my thinking. Let me grab some water. Getting a little parched. Okay. Let's see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these bad boys in half. It was weirdly tough to cut that. I don't know why. Okay. Now we're going to cut them like this, like pepperoni. There we go. This is not the right knife to cut this pickle with. All right. Last bit. Okay. Half will go there. The other half will go there on that side. Okay. Our cutting board has gotten a little bit on the wet side. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wipe it down real quick with the paper towel so things don't get too wet when we're cutting up our smoked meat, which is what we're going to be cutting up next. So this is for pizza whistle number 1. This is for pizza whistle number 2. It's actually, again, as I said earlier, it was very expensive, but also at the same time, this is more smoked meat than I'll probably be able to fit into these things, which is good because I can at least have some to my own. In fact, let me have a little. That's good. Good stuff. I mean, it's not like my favorite meat alone, but pretty good. Pretty good. All right. I'm gonna cut it lengthwise like this. Maybe 3 times. And I'm gonna schlep that back in the bowl. Same thing for this guy. Hold on, maybe I can, it would be better if I cut it from the other side. Like that. Man, this is really satisfying to cut through. I should do more of these streams before I buy this really expensive smoked meat and just cut through it into squares like this. Okay. And where do I want to put the other thing? I could all just put it in the same bowl because it's probably not like I'm going to use all of it with, you know, the 2 pizza whistles. Or I could also maybe put it on this plate. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll put that on top of that, like with the bacon. Perfect. Okay. I'm just going to wipe down the cutting board because I'll probably grate the cheese onto there next. Just before I do that, though, because after we grate the cheese, we don't want to let it dry out too long. Let me read a little bit from the other recipe thingy that I printed out. There we go. So here's the thing. Typically in the past, when I've made these pizza whistles, I've tended to kind of wing it. I typically have not really been like, oh, I'm going to go into this with a very specific recipe instruction in mind of how I'm going to assemble this thing and prepare it for the oven. This time around, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to... I originally based my pizza dough recipe off of this recipe I got from tasty.com. And so I was like, well, what if I went on tasty.com and check to see if they have any stromboli recipes, and maybe I can base what I'm going to do with my pizza whistle off of that. So this is their cheesy pepperoni stromboli recipe. This cheesy stromboli is a fun twist on a classic pizza. The chewy pizza dough is stuffed with melty cheese, salami, and pepperoni, making a perfect snack for a meal on any occasion. The garlic butter on top gives it an extra flavor punch. Obviously, we're not going to be dealing with any of the innards in this case, but we will be dealing with our garlic butter, which we will make using 3 tablespoons of butter that has been melted, 2 cloves of garlic that has been chopped, 2 tablespoons of finely chopped parsley, 1 teaspoon of pepper, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Preparation: preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, line a baking sheet with parchment paper, remove the pizza dough from the package and roll out on a lightly floured surface. Arrange alternating rows of pepperoni, mozzarella, and other things on top of the dough. Sprinkle the other ingredients. Starting from the short end, roll up the stromboli. Make the garlic butter. In a small bowl, stir together the melted butter, garlic, parsley, salt, and pepper. So what we're going to do is basically we're going to entirely assemble our pizza whistles. We're going to roll them up and then we're going to roll them into their whistle shapes. Definitely doesn't look like anything else. And then we are going to assemble our butter, and then we're going to brush the butter all over the stromboli, then transfer to the prepared baking sheet, is what it says here. And then bake the stromboli until golden brown, 15 to 20 minutes. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Let's go ahead. I'm going to grab myself some of our pizza mozzarella. I'm going to shred some up onto this cutting board right over here. I'm going to start with this one. Hold on. Let me give a better view of the action so you can see what's going on. Okay. That's about equal. Here we go. Cutting board. I don't actually know if, like, a half of this package is going to be enough. When I noted down in my notes, like, how much cheese I was going to need for each pizza whistle, I said 2 cups of shredded cheese. I don't know if this actually equates to 2 cups of shredded cheese, but I'm just going to assume that it's going to be adequate. And if it's not adequate, then we'll grab the other pizza dough mozzarella, open it up, and grate it up. Just a few more grates. We've gotten all this in. Just gonna gather it up, kind of scrunch it up like it's almost like a hockey puck. Probably going to need to a little bit of space on the table, actually. Come on. Come on. There we go. We are so close, so close. Okay. Don't let it spill everywhere, Cozy. There we go. Looking good. All right. I'm going to take a moment to clear some things off of the table. Move things around so that we have as much space to work with when we bring our big ol' pizza doughs over here. We can remove one of these hot plates entirely from the table. Actually, let's bring in the full view of the top-down camera. Give ourselves as much of a show as possible. Can't forget about the grain Dijon mustard, of course. Let's see. There we go. And I mean, I guess we can just... I don't like doing this, but we can just temporarily move this out of the way until we need to put our cheese on the pizza. Just make sure I don't spill any of the cheese elsewhere in the basement. Okay, let's go ahead and let's bring one of our two pizza doughs over to the table. Just a moment so I can sprinkle down a little bit of flour. Should be enough. Okay. In fact, you know what? Let's also zoom in too. So what we're going to do with this thing is we're going to make ourselves a large rectangular shape so that we can properly spread all of our toppings in this thing and then later roll it up. Right now I'm just pulling on the dough so that we make it a little bit more spread out, easier to work with. I'm trying hard not to accidentally puncture any holes. Well, that's going to be inevitable at some point. All right. Just trying to get the edges of this thing to be as even as possible, because the edges tend to be where a lot of the dough concentrates, which normally is not a big deal when we want to have a nice crust, but in our case, we want to spread this out a little bit more, as you know. Okay. I think we've reached a point where we can begin to properly rectangulize our pizza creation. A second. There we go. I just gotta... It's not going to be a perfect rectangle. I still want it as spread out as I can manage. Okay, there we go. You know what? Because it's been waiting so patiently with this one. Hold on a sec. With this one, we're actually going to start with the mustard sauce that we made a little bit earlier. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to spread it around. Okay, I think that's going to be enough sauce. I'm going to do my best now to try to evenly distribute it out. In fact, I might even need to slightly remove some if I feel like it's a little bit too on the saucy side. Okay, I think that's properly set up. Looks pretty good. Some of the edges are maybe a little bit... You know what? This would be a good opportunity to actually bring in our scraper. Just wipe down the scraper a little bit. And actually just do a little bit of adjustment along the edges. So it's not like literally about to like spill over, you know? Okay. Looks good. Looks good. I wonder if almost it might even benefit from me. Nah, it's probably fine. Okay. Next up, we're going to put some of our smoked meat on this bad boy. I'm going to try to, you know, make sure that I really spread the stuff out evenly. So it doesn't feel like there's a particular corner of this thing that's perhaps not getting its due. Okay. This is actually really coming together. You know, I made 5 cups worth, 5 cups of flour worth of dough, because that's literally all the dough flour I had. It was that and like an extra half a cup, and I wanted to use that extra half a cup for flouring the surface of my workstation for the stream. But I think that actually dividing that up so that we're dealing with about 2.5 cups of flour worth of dough per pizza whistle is actually the right course of action. I'm definitely going to remember this in the future. Next time I make pizza whistles like this. Okay, next up, the bacon. And I'm going to try to be as even in my distribution as I can muster. As I can mustard. Ooh. Next up are pickles. I think I made the right amount of pickles in the end for this. Just need to make sure again that this is well and evenly distributed, so nobody can accuse me of not properly pickling up the surface of this thing evenly. Yeah, I think that's totally fine. Whoa. Tuples1 is in the chat. Hey, Cozy. Have you considered going on Canadian Bake Off? It would be fun to go on one of those shows, like 100%. I think the thing with the Canadian Bake Off is it's one of those things where I feel like the people that are on Canadian Bake Off tend to be, you know, a little bit more like they're like actual full-time professional chefs their whole life. I've actually not watched Canadian Bake Off really myself. I've watched a bit of the British version. But yeah, I got the sense that if I were going to, I probably would not even make it past the tryouts on that show, but maybe not. I actually don't really know exactly what the deal is. Maybe they actually coach you and train you up a little bit going into that. Never say never. The other thing too is that like I have a lot of things going on in my life, and I feel like taking time out of my day to do Canadian Bake Off would like just take a lot of force me to kind of like quit out on a bunch of other things that I want to do. Then again though, doing Canadian Bake Off would probably bring a lot more attention to this channel, potentially. You never know. I don't know. Something to definitely consider, but it's not necessarily on the top of my priority list. I apologize, by the way, Tuples, that I did not immediately notice your message. I was very much engrossed in basically preparing the first of my 2 pizza whistles. Speaking of which, we are at the point where we're ready to add a little bit of our grain mustard to this thing. Now this is where I'm beginning to realize it's going to be a little bit tough actually to like properly like, you know what I'm going to do is without touching the spoon, I'm actually going to take little bits of the grain mustard in my fingers, and I'm actually going to just like put them here, there, everywhere on the pizza. Okay, I think that should be, maybe I'll put a little bit more. All right, I don't want to overdo it. This stuff is pretty, it has a very strong taste, and it's a little bit on the spicy side. I don't want to accidentally ruin the rest of the thing because of it. In fact, I might put a little bit less on the next one that I make. Okay, right. And the last thing is, of course, our cheese. I'm looking at the size of this thing. I think I might actually want to do more cheese than originally planned, actually. We'll see how well this stuff spreads on the creation. Yeah, I don't feel like I need to shred like a full other thing of pizza cheese, but I feel like I could definitely use a little bit more. You know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take half of this. I think that's about half. And I'm going to, yeah, put the other half on this. And then I'll just remember I got to grate one more half of the bricks of pizza cheese that I have in my little fridge over there for the last remaining pizza whistle. Okay. All right. So now I gotta just try to push this stuff around a little bit, make sure it's nice and evenly distributed, because I'm noticing now that it's starting to feel a little bit stacked up, which is to be expected, but we do need to roll this thing. Okay. Okay. All of that is done, which means that now what we got to do is we got to roll this thing. This is going to be exciting. Kind of. We'll see. Right. Normally in the past, when I made my pizza whistles, I didn't really roll them up like this. Typically what I tended to do was kind of just do only like a single like roll. Okay, some stuff leaked out a little bit, but I bet, oh, it almost looks like a sandworm. All right, I can pinch this close and then kind of tuck it in there. That'd be good. I was concerned for a second there that the pizza dough is potentially going to break open. I think we're good. Okay. I'm realizing right now that we should probably prepare our baking tray with some of our parchment paper, but before we do that, we will go ahead and we will make the whistle shape. Oh, hold on a sec. I'm realizing right now that I haven't really done a good job of... What I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to roll this over once more, because the bottom of the thing is not really pinched up. It's just the extremities. Unless maybe I can do it like this. I'm going to do it like this first. And then I'll roll it over, and then I'll do any additional corrections that we need to do. Okay. See, I'm just gonna roll some more dough over this, which is good because that part over there was a little bit on the weaker side. Thank you, by the way, Tuples, for tuning into my last stream of the season. I really appreciate it. All right. And now, I think, well, you know what? I'm going to roll it in this direction. Oh, I'm getting a little bit of breakage over there. I should probably be careful with the next whistle. All right. Okay. Well, it's a little bit of a thicker whistle than what I've made in the past, but you know what? You know what? I think it's okay that it's not like a super duper kind of spirally whistle, because we get to the point. We get the point. Okay. We actually have a pair of scissors on hand. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the scissors to help properly cut up the shape that we need from this thing. Got some pieces of parchment paper on the floor now, but it's okay. We'll be able to clean them up later. Okay. Now, gotta pick this bad boy up. Make the transfer without causing too much of a fuss. There are definitely a few tears underneath there, but unfortunately there's not much we can do. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to temporarily move that whistle out of the way. I'm going to actually cover it in the same damn towel I was using for the other pizza dough. We're going to take our other pizza dough and we're going to transfer it over here and do the process all over again. All right, taken care of. Gonna go ahead and we're gonna grab a little bit of flour. Like that. And we're going to spread out our dough. Now we're at the point where we're just gonna focus on trying to expand out the extremities. Make it so that they're not as, the dough isn't as concentrated in them as we originally thought. Go. All right. And now comes the rectangling. Is this your first time? Hello to C Films. Hello, I'm doing great. How are you doing? Is this your first time making pizza dough? No, it is not. I have made it on this channel many times in the past, sometimes to make pizzas, sometimes to make whistles. By the way, C Films, maybe you're a perfectly fashionable and cool individuals, but hello, I am doing great. How are you doing? I don't know, it sounds a little bit like the way that a bot introduces themselves in a stream. I don't know if you're about to be like, hey, I have some great stream graphics aren't a scam that I want you to be interested in. I'm joking, but if you are a bot and maybe you're somebody who wants to become human, maybe you want a bicentennial man situation going on, you can let me know about that, and maybe I'll feel passionate about your plea, about your crisis, and I'll do what I can to bicentennial man you. Offers on the table. Offers on the table. Okay. Again, I just want to edge out the corners a little bit so that it's more rectangle-like than it currently is. What is Montreal-style pizza? So I'm not making a pizza. I'm making a pizza whistle, which is a creation originally created by the great folks over at the Comedy Button. Rest in peace, because that podcast is now defunct. It is basically a whistle-shaped bundle of dough, basically a stromboli in the shape of a whistle, like, give me a moment, this thing right here, which I've already prepared. And what makes it Montreal is that we're going to be putting the various Montreal toppings inside this bad boy, which you will see in just a moment. Toppings such as, to begin with, some French's bold and spicy mustard. Yes, we're not using tomato sauce. We're not using your average pizza sauce. We are starting with mustard. Will this work out? We will find out in, like, I don't know, 30 minutes from now. All right. Give me a moment. Okay. Whoops. I'm gonna wipe up our scraper over here to get some of the residue of the mustard sauce off of it. And now we're gonna use this to spread out our spicy bold mustard like such. Oops, I accidentally spilled some mustard somewhere in my basement. That's not good. Smells really good, though. There we go. All right, I think that's enough mustard. I think we're good in that regard. All right, next step. Give me a moment while I put a couple of these plates over to the side. Sorry if that clanging was a little bit loud. We're gonna add some of our Montreal-style smoked meat. This is, of course, smoked meat that you would typically eat in a Montreal smoked meat sandwich. It's kind of like a Reuben. Not exactly. Similar. Typically, the Montreal-style smoked meat sandwich doesn't tend to have a lot more inside of it outside of the mustard. Like, I feel like the average Reuben is guaranteed to have like coleslaw and some other crap in it, but the Montreal smoked meat sandwich is very simple. It's just smoked meat, mustard, and that's kind of it. Just doing my best here to make sure that we have an even distribution. Smoked meat throughout our pizza. All right. I think that's about good. All right, we're gonna take the bowl that we were using for the smoked meat, put it over here. Next up, got a little bit of bacon. Of course, bacon, a universally beloved meat. But it's something that obviously is very near and dear to the hearts of us Montrealers too, just as it is near and dear to the hearts of everyone worldwide. And so I'm going to be adding a little bit of it on here in addition to the smoked meat. Next up, some pickles, because of course nothing pairs better with a Montreal-style smoked meat sandwich than some pickles. C Film says, how do you describe a pizza? How do I describe a pizza? Well, C Films, a pizza is like a big pie that it's your sky, and it's a something. It's very delicious, and man, I wish I could just eat them forever, but they're so caloric. It's just pure love. It's just pure love incarnate in food form as something that's non-living. So I don't think that incarnate is really the right way here. Hello to Silos. To answer your question, is that bacon or Canadian bacon? That's just normal bacon. It's from the President's Choice brand, which is a brand native to Canada. So I don't know if that technically makes it Canadian bacon, but it's not Canadian bacon in the way that you, I guess, typically think of it. Hope you're having a good day, Silos. I am just about done with putting all the toppings on my here pizza. Next up is a little bit of our grain mustard. Again, I'm making sure not to touch the spoon with my hand. I'm just using it to dab a couple little bits of grain mustard here and there. In fact, you know what? I think that might be enough. I don't think we're going to want to put any more grain mustard than that. We don't want to accidentally ruin the flavor of the delish dish that we are coming up with. Thank you, Silos. Thank you. I think this one at the very least. The other one with the homemade mustard sauce that we have chilling over there to the side. I don't know how good that one's going to turn out. I think this one's going to be good. Right. So now the only thing we have left to put on this thing is our cheese. And we actually have to grate a little bit more of it. So let me grab the cheese in our cheese grater real quick. And we will grab our scissors as well. In fact, you know what? Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. Give ourselves a better view of the action. All right. And maybe I'll zoom back in. There we go. When I have grated this half of this block of cheese, we'll have basically enough pizza mozzarella to cover the rest of this bad boy. After this, after I put the cheese on this bad boy, we're going to roll this up, make it into a whistle shape, and then we are going to melt ourselves a little bit of garlic butter. We're going to put our garlic butter on our two beautiful pizza whistles, and then we're going to schlep that in the oven for 20 minutes, and I'm going to play a little bit more of Pokemon Recharge Yellow while we wait for our whistle to fully cook out. It's going to be the last time we're going to be playing Pokemon Recharge Yellow on stream. I don't know if I'm going to continue the run on another stream any further. I might play a little bit more of it on my own time, but probably not as part of an upcoming stream. I'm off to PAX, not this upcoming weekend, but the weekend after it. And I want to give myself enough time to pack this upcoming Wednesday. All right. Give me just a moment so I can put this out of the way. Silas in the chat says, "That's awesome. Hope you enjoy your trip. Anything specific you're looking forward to?" Lots of things. I've booked a few appointments with some developers at PAX to go and see their games because I'm officially registered as part of like press influencer because I'm doing it as part of the podcast I'm a part of, Respawning Fire. I'm going to be at some point during the trip doing a like live version of the Jeopardy inspired game show I do with the podcast with my friends. I'm also definitely at some point going to try to prepare a cabane sucre style meal for my friends. Cabane sucre being a very traditional style meal at this time of the year in Quebec, where basically you make things like pudding chômeur, which is like a maple pudding. You make like potatoes with a little bit of maple syrup. You make like pancakes and maple syrup. You make all sorts of maple syrupy things, and I'm going to try to make a nice feast of that stuff for my friends as well. So now we're going to wrap it up. What we learned last time is you got to start with a nice bit of dough like that so that it stays in place, and then you can start continuing to roll it up like that. And voila. Okay. First things first. It does sound delicious. I'm most looking forward to the pudding chômeur because like they'll have tried like approximations of all the other things I'm gonna make for them. Like obviously they've had like maple syrup and pancakes before, but they definitely have not had pudding chômeur before, and so I'm excited to treat them to that. It'll also be my first time making pudding chômeur myself, actually. Despite having tried it myself on many an occasion. Also, I'm just taking a moment to basically pinch together the dough underneath the log that I just rolled up here. And then I'm going to roll it over. All right, there we go. Now we are going to roll this bad boy up. Make ourselves a nice whistle shape. Okay. Now we're going to grab our other whistle. We're going to try our best to put this bad boy on here without causing too much of a mess. There we go. It's like the yin and yang symbol. Just want to see if I can move this over at all. There we go. There we go. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put my damp towel over these things so we can prevent them from drying out. I'm going to push them over to the side for just a second over here. Let's go ahead. Let's bring our half camera back in. Okay, so this is where we get to the garlic butter portion of tonight's show. Let me just put a couple of these things out of the way. All right, so to make our garlic butter, we are going to need, per serving, 3 tablespoons of garlic butter, 2 cloves of garlic that have been chopped, 2 tablespoons of finely chopped fresh parsley, 1 teaspoon of pepper, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, but I think that because we're dealing with 2 pretty big-sized thingamabobs over here, we're probably going to need, to double the recipe by quite a bit. Let's go ahead and we're going to grab our butter. Actually, you know what let's do? Let's actually put all the other ingredients in this measuring cup. I'm going to start by doing that. Let's see. 3 tablespoons. We're going to, you know what? Actually, we're going to triple the recipe. And I'm actually going to start from the bottom. I'm going to start with 1 teaspoon of salt. Which is actually going to be, 1 teaspoon of pepper, which is actually going to be 3 teaspoons of pepper. Let me grab the teaspoon real quick. We're going to need to wipe down our teaspoon a little bit because it got covered in some of the mustard guck from earlier. All right. Number 1. Number 2. We're going to need a little bit more for number 3. There we go, number 3. All right, pepper's dealt with. Salt's going to be easier because we don't need to grind our salt. Let's see here. All right. 1 teaspoon of salt. Two teaspoons of salt. Hold on, I put a little bit too much in the measuring spoon. 3 teaspoons of salt. Perfect. All right, I'm realizing that I accidentally brought the parsley upstairs. I also only have dried parsley, and so I'll have to do the conversion there. Because it says normally you got to add 2 tablespoons, but I'm assuming that's probably 2 teaspoons. Let's see here. 2 cloves of garlic, chopped. Where is the garlic? The garlic is around here somewhere. Here it is. Let's see here. I actually have exactly 6 cloves of garlic, so this actually works out perfectly. Shit. I thought the pepper was gonna fall to the ground. Thankfully, it did not. That would have been really bad. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start by crushing the garlic with our knife. In fact, maybe we can zoom in on this a little bit. And then cutting off the extremities. And I'm making a bit of a mess on the floor. A lot of the bread from the garlic is falling here, there, and everywhere. I'm going to have to take a broom later to clean things up a little bit more. Here we go. Last one. Here we go. There's a little blemish on this garlic, so I'm just going to cut it out real quick. Maybe I can pick it through. There we go. Now, normally we would just cut it into increasingly smaller pieces with, hold on a sec, with our knife, but we actually can use our, oh, here it is. Didn't even realize it was here. Our cheese grater to significantly speed up the process. So that's what we're going to do right now into our handy dandy measuring cup. There's a lot of garlic that gets stuck inside the grater when I do this. I'll clean it up afterwards. All right, final one. Sorry, it's a little bit quiet. It's just not too much to say while grating up 6 different things of garlic. All right. Okay, that's taken care of. So let's see. Next up, what we're going to do is we are going to grab our big old stick of butter that we got here. We're going to measure out, it says 3 tablespoons of butter melted. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure out a total of 9 tablespoons of the stuff. We're going to put it in the bowl that we have right over here. And we are going to bring that bowl upstairs real quick. Take ourselves a quick little break. And we are going to melt it. All right, that's 1. 2. 3. It's 1/3 of the way. 4. 5. Over halfway there. Nope. 6. 7. 8. 9. There we go. Whew. Okay, I'm going to bring this thing upstairs. Toot sweet. I'm going to microwave it up. I'm also going to grab the parsley while I'm there. And then we'll be back down and we can continue applying our garlic butter. I am back and I have the garlic motherload. Look at how big this thing is of parsley flakes. Why did I say garlic? I mean, I am going to be making the garlic motherload all the same. All right, let me just look this up real quick because I just want to confirm. Fresh parsley to dried parsley conversion. 3-to-1 ratio of fresh to dry. So 1 tablespoon of fresh herb, 1 teaspoon of dried herb. Okay, that's very useful because it's asking for 2 tablespoons of finely chopped fresh parsley, so we can go with 2 teaspoons of the dried stuff. Perfecto. Let's start by, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just move the measuring cup over here. So I'll do it teaspoon at a time. So 1, 2, 3, halfway there, 4, 5, here we go, final one, 6. Perfecto. All right, and that taken care of, I'm gonna grab one of my spoons. I'm just gonna melt up, oops, some of it spilled. That's not good. Just gonna really, there's some chunks of the butter that didn't fully melt. Just trying to get as much of it to melt as I possibly can. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's pour the rest of our stuff in here. And you know what? Just real quick, use my brush to get the rest of the stuff in there. There we go, and we mix. There we go. All right. I think that now we can finally begin to garlic butter up our pizza whistles. So let's begin by doing just that. You know what? Let's go ahead. Let's go for the full top-down view of everything. Make sure that we can have as much real estate as possible. There we go. Ooh, I almost wonder if maybe we made a little bit too much butter. Probably not. I think it'll probably work out to the right amount in the end. But there's still quite a bit left in the bowl, which is not what I was anticipating. I'm like the Picasso of the world of pizza. Those transitions with the desktop theme are sick. It's something that I worked on really long and hard in preparation for Kozibear's Cooking Season 4. I wanted Kozibear's Cooking Season 4's presentation values to really stand out compared to the first 3 seasons, and I think that the results speak for themselves. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I heavily used, obviously I used a lot of my own prior knowledge of the ins and outs of OBS to pull it off. But honestly, 90% of what you're looking at right now would not have been possible without the use of StreamerBot. It's a relatively new app. I feel like it's only been around for like a year or so, but it completely changed the game, allowed me to really level up the quality and sophistication of the transitions that I do on these streams. Okay. Let me just move around the desk for a second here, just so I can see. I bet I can apply a little bit more on this underside over here. Maybe I can apply a little bit more over there as well. I'm trying to use up as much of the garlic butter now, because there's no way that this stuff is gonna like end up being used after I put the rest of it in the fridge. Best to use as much of it up now as I can. Silas says, yeah, it shows. Been a while since I caught a cooking stream, but I've missed them. The old stuff looked great already, so one-upping it is very impressive. Once again, thank you. Really appreciate it. And of course, I don't think you probably have not seen the other half of my streams where I do a little bit of video game playing while I let these things cook. So you are in for a treat there as well once we switch over to that. All right, I think these are pretty well buttered up. There aren't really a whole lot of corners of them that really feel like they're missing garlic butter at this point. I think I probably made the right amount of garlic butter. And so, yeah, without further ado, I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these things in the oven. Let me just switch out back to the full head-on view of myself. Yeah, so I'm going to play a little bit of Pokemon Recharge Yellow. The instructions say, got to put them in there for 20 minutes, but these are pretty big. They're pretty big, and so I feel like it might end up being a little bit more time. So I'm going to put them in there for 20 minutes. We're going to play for 20 minutes. We're going to go up and check. We'll see how they're doing, and then we'll take it from there. Maybe we need to do another 20 minutes. Maybe we need to do another 10 minutes. We'll see how they look at that point. All right, I'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back from putting our pizza whistles in the oven, which means that it's time for us to play a little bit of Pokemon Recharge Yellow. Let's go ahead and let's start that timer. Again, the recipe says that we got to cook them for 20 minutes, but it will probably take a little bit more time than that considering how big they are. So we'll play for the 20 or so minutes that we currently have set on our timer, and then we'll see how we feel. Maybe we'll go for another 10 minutes, another 20 minutes. Depends on how cooked they are or are not. Last time in Pokemon Recharge Yellow, oh crap, I just realized I did not do anything to increase the speed of my speed up in the game, which is an issue that we dealt with last time. Last time in Recharge Yellow, we made our way over to the rival and we kicked his ass. Our team, which consists of Mank the Mankey, Jules the, what's his name? Weepinbell, Butthugger the Pikachu, I did not name him that was Shad, Rygar the Charmeleon, and Simsala the Kadabra are doing quite well. But now we have to go find some other trainers and take care of them so that we can earn some more experience points. Because we last time decided, you know what, probably would be for the best if we just immediately rushed to take on our rival first. Let's see here. If he has another Nidoran, I'll just switch into Simsala for them. Nope. Oh, another trainer. You know what? I'm going to switch into Butthugger for this one. I'm amazed. Oh, Pidgey must have tried to use Quick Attack. Here, I'm going to use the Quick Attack on my own. Stupid Nidoran female got paralyzed. Ooh, Brick Break. That is a good-ass move, but I feel like we can probably learn some better moves with our Primeape, and so I'm not gonna immediately teach it to that. Maybe we'll acquire another Pokemon later on that we can teach Brick Break to that will make it all worth it. I don't remember if any of these guys are trainers, but I figure it's probably better to talk to all of them just to make sure that there isn't anything we're missing. Oh shit, a Cherry Berry, which we took out of the garbage. Oh, a chest. Oh, all of them have berries, don't they? Nice. Hey, Snorlax. Of course, talking to that person allows you to see Snorlax's incomplete Pokédex entry early on, even before you've actually encountered it, which is sort of convenient if you're like a super completionist playing these games and you want to have as many Pokédex entries as you possibly want. By the way, if you're tuning in and watching the Pokemon part of my streams for the first time, this is Pokemon Recharge Yellow, which is a ROM hack of Pokemon Yellow created by Jaizu, which is the same guy that made Pokemon Emerald Cross, which is another Pokemon ROM hack that I had a lot of fun with on my previous streams. Basically, it's Pokemon Yellow recreated in the Pokemon Emerald engine with the Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green sprite work and stuff. With some quality of life improvements and slight story changes. I don't think that the original Pokemon Yellow is a game that I ever saw through to completion, if I gotta be totally honest. I definitely completed Pokemon Red back in the day, but I don't actually have any definitive memory as to whether or not I completed Pokemon Pokemon Yellow. But I definitely remembered playing it. Come on. There we go. Goodbye to Pikachu. You know, I should probably put someone at the front of my party, actually, to make this a little bit easier. Oh, shit, I have not leveled up Rygar at all. I've not really actually even leveled him up all that much since he, at the absolute last minute, was able to pull out an amazing victory against Misty, despite her being a water-type gym leader. So let's have him at the front of the party for a little bit. Oh, bad move, Rattata. Oh shit, that did a lot of damage. I'm gonna switch into Jules for this one. Yay, X attack. Probably should have healed up Charmeleon before this battle. Interesting. Who do I want to send in for this one? Let's send in Simsala. Growlithe does have Bite, I think. But I don't think it can do... I don't think it'll be able to hit before me. Yeah, I'll just take care of Ponyta by myself. Hey, Simsala is now level 23, and Reflect, which is actually a pretty decent move. I'm gonna get rid of Disable, considering that Disable has 55 accuracy, which I did not know about it in this generation. I guess they bumped that up quite a bit in subsequent generations. Alright. I know there's the one person downstairs that will heal up your Pokemon a little bit, but it's just a little bit easier. Oh. That's odd. I thought there would be more trainers, maybe on the deck. Yeah, there we go. There we go. For whatever reason, whenever I play these Fire Red, Leaf Green games, I often forget about the deck. Doesn't immediately come to mind. And there we go. Goodbye to Machop. I'll stay in, but then I'll immediately switch out to Simsala. Another Machop. Maybe I'll be able to take him out as easily as I did last time. I do have speed advantage. Oh, wow. That guy was not hurt at all by that. I think I might need to send in Simsala to help out. Or maybe... no, I'll send in Simsala. Don't want to overcomplicate this. Alright, well, I appreciate the slight level up. I'm definitely not teaching it Smokescreen, because that is not a very helpful move. Jules is going to have fun with this one. And goodbye to Shelder. Alright, I think this is the last trainer. Nope, not a trainer. Okay. We will now meet the captain. We will peer into his no good, very bad bucket of vomit. And we will obtain our TM. Yeah, remember that time when your character rubs the back of the captain? Early Pokemon was a little bit weird. I'm going to go ahead. I am going to return to the Vermilion Pokemon Center. I'm going to heal up my team, and then we are going to head to Vermilion City Gym. I have about 10 minutes left on the timer. I think we can defeat Lieutenant Surge in that amount of time. I think, but I'm not 100% certain. We will certainly see. Thank you, thank you. And we're good. Goodbye. Ooh, you know, I've been thinking of putting another Pokemon on my team, like a water type that can learn Surf, but now I'm actually wondering if my Pikachu can learn Surf, because I know that there's like the whole surfing minigame in the original version of Pokemon Yellow. Can my Pikachu just learn Surf and use it like outside of battle? Because that would be very convenient if so. I was not expecting Ember to do more damage than Slam. Totally honest. Oh, wow. That's very convenient. And Pikachu goes down. That was a very convenient victory. Wow. I was not expecting these Pikachus to go down so fast. Now, I am paralyzed, which sucks, but hey, I'm making it work. Hey, it's Voltorb. I'm going to send in Jules. It's not good. It used Screech, but then it used Sonic Boom, which is not a move that really is able to take advantage of Screech. Yeah, overall, its moveset is very weird. Ooh, Magnemite. That's actually a Pokemon that Charmeleon is actually kind of well equipped to fight, even though it is paralyzed. Oh, there we go. I was concerned for a second it wasn't gonna one-hit KO, but we just made it work. I am going to send in Pikachu for this one. Alright, let's get this one over with. It's another Pikachu, okay. I believe in this generation we can paralyze other electric-type Pokemon, so that's what we're going to do first. And we're going to use a little bit of Return to speed things up for us. Wow, critical hit. Nice. But still not a level up. Alright, let's see if we can figure this stupid puzzle out. Imagine if I spend the entirety of the rest of the stream trying this. No. Ooh, I hope it's this. There we go. There we go. But I'm gonna heal up real quick. Silas says, dude, that timer is sick as well. It just clicked for me that it was filling up. Hell yeah, that timer. Let me tell you, that required a bit of a feat of engineering that I did not know that I had in me. Definitely required a lot of iterations to get the whole look of it just right. But I'm very pleased with the result. All right, I am going to start off. I'm going to actually put Rygar at the front. Because maybe, I don't know what Pokemon he leads with in yellow, but if it's a Magnemite. This will be convenient for me. Oh, 4 Pokemon, ooh. It's more Pokemon than I was anticipating. Shockwave. I forgot this is the move that he has in this gym. It didn't even do half damage, though. I actually did more damage, although that was a crit. Alright, well... Oh, shit! Wow! Good job, Rygar. I was not anticipating you to actually take him on. Alright, Magnemite. I will probably... Actually, I might move first. We'll see. Oh, shit. Is this going to be another one-hit KO? Wow, I was not expecting Rygar to get this far into the fight. Rygar is definitely a keeper. You know what? I'm going to send in Jules for this one. And I'm going to use Poison Powder. I like Shockwave as a move, but it's also a move that takes a long time to do its whole animation thing, so I hope you'll excuse me for speeding it up. You know what? Maybe we can use the opportunity to level up our growth a little bit. But it used Light Screen. It's very smart of it. Alright. Now we'll do a little bit of Vine Whip and see what we can do. Things are not going to go well for me. Oh, wow. This is bad. Wow. I got both flashed and paralyzed. Come on, Jules. One hit. Nope. I bet Simsala probably is both fast enough and strong enough to finish it off first. So, let's do that. Oh, no! Are you kidding me? It's faster? Thank God Simsala has decent enough special defense. Alright. Strategy for Raichu is I'm going to switch into Pikachu, and I'm actually going to paralyze it. By the way, if you're looking at some of these Pokemon and thinking, do those Pokemon look like they're shiny forms? They're not shiny, that's just the way, one of the quirks of Pokemon Recharge Yellow is that Pokemon will randomly have various shades of color applied to them that is not typical of the way they were in the original Fire Red Leaf Green games. Alright, well I'm going to try to do as much as I can like this, but I mean, this is not great. Man, so many Pokemon have Double Team. Ooh, it is coming down to the wire. Oh no! Ah, I clicked too soon. Fuck! Ah, damn. Wow, it actually got paralyzed because of that. Oh, and it used a super potion? Fuck. Guys, this is not looking good. Man, not only did Lieutenant Surge use Double Team a lot, but also so did the rival? Which sucks. Come on, guys. You don't have to be hacksers like that. Alright, well, I'm probably going to lose. We also have 38 seconds on the timer. So, what we're going to do is we're going to quit out of the game after we lose. We're going to go upstairs, see how the pizza whistles are doing. If they still need a little bit more time in the oven, we're going to Basically set a new timer, and then we are going to play for however much additional time we have set for ourselves. And then we'll probably level up against a couple of other trainers before we reattempt our run against Lieutenant Surge. Alright. Our timer is ringing, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check up on our pizza whistles. Be right back.
What am I doing here? I'm longing for you, dear. If we could look to the stars, maybe life wouldn't be so hard. We were this close to another ending, but too far from the start. We were this close to another story, but we drifted apart. Oh, I think I lost my...
I have returned, and it would seem as if the pizza whistles are actually further along than I anticipated they would be. That being said, I still feel like they probably need a little bit more time. And so I am going to set a timer for 5 minutes. Give me just a second. Because I need to both set the timer that you see for, like, the timer number that you see on top of the Pokeballs, and I also need to set a timer number for the actual Pokeball rising thing itself. It's a little bit complicated. But basically, all that to say that we now have a new timer for ourselves, and that new timer starts now. All right, so like I said earlier, I want to level up a little bit, but we don't have a lot of time. But we do have some nice trainers around here that can probably give us a lot of experience points, so let's see what we can earn. You know what? I'm going to switch into Simsala, because Simsala can definitely gain some good experience points from this as well. Ooh. You know what? Sandshrew might be normal type, but it doesn't really have any moves that it can use against us that are super effective, so yeah, good choice on my part to just stay in the battle. Ooh, a Nidorino. I think this is the first time we fought a Nidorino in a trainer battle, actually. By the way, when you start this version of Pokemon Yellow, it actually gives you the option to choose what difficulty you want to play on, and I actually selected hard difficulty, so if you're surprised by how tough that Lieutenant Surge battle was, well, now you know why. Oh, this would have been a good Pokemon to start with Rygar with, actually. Hold on. Perfect. Level up all around. Oh, probably should have switched into Mank for that one. Oh, this will be a good Pokemon for Mank. Mank, you were built for this. Ooh, maybe Low Kick can do a lot of damage here. Wow! One hit KO. Alright. I'm going to try to see if I can level up both Mank and Jules, and then even if the timer runs out, I'm going to just see if I can make one more attempt at Lieutenant Surge and complete the boss battle. Mega Punch time. Really? Paralysis? Come on, Mank, you can do it. There we go. It's not a good Pokemon for Jules to fight. I'll have Rygar take care of him. Sweet Scent, another move that takes too much time. Alright. Jules, we just need you to level up and then we will be primed and ready for our Lieutenant Surge comeback. So, let's focus on it. Oh, Drowsy. We've not actually caught a Drowsy yet. And in this version of the game, we will earn experience points if we defeat or capture a Pokemon in battle. So let's see if we can capture it. All right. Perfect. If anybody has any suggestions in the chat what we should call this Drowsy, I'm taking any suggestion you might have. Puts enemies to sleep, then eats their dreams. Occasionally gets sick from eating only bad dreams. You know what? I'm going to call this guy Silas. In memory of Silas, who joined me on my final stream. Alright, here we go. I know it's not very super effective, but... Oh, I don't think we're going to be able to win this one. Crap. Here we go. The timer's up, but I don't smell anything burning yet, so I'm just going to try to level up my team real quick, take on Lieutenant Surge, end things on a high note. Oh, we finally learned Acid. Perfect. I'm gonna get rid of Poison Powder and teach it that. There we go. Sorry, guys. I know there's a lot of things I'm missing right now, but we gotta take on Surge. I'm just going to do this all sped up. Come on, Jules. Come on, Jules. I believe in you. Alright, well, so much for that. Are you kidding me? That paralyzed it? Wow. Come on, Rygar, you can do it. There we go, Pikachu's down. Rygar's level 24. Butthugger, you can do it. Come on, Come on, you can fight through the paralysis. There we go. Ah. Cheap piece of shit. Guys, I don't think we're going to be able to beat Lieutenant Surge. I don't think this is going to be the noble end to this set I think we wanted it to be. Wow, what a piece of shit. I mean, I know that we're playing on hard difficulty, but... Maybe I can use hypnosis. Wow. Well, that sucks, but hey, at least we met Silas the Drowsy. Alright. I'm gonna save and I'm gonna check up on that pizza whistle.
Where am I going now? Will our paths cross somehow? You were always by my side. I hope one day our hearts collide. We were this close to another ending, but too far from the start. We were this close to another story, but we drifted apart. Oh, I think I lost my way, and no, I'm not okay. And yet I'm begging you to
Ladies and gentlemen, we may not have won against Lieutenant Surge. Alas, his team relied on some real cheap hacksaw moves, using a whole lot of double team to keep himself alive and viable. But we definitely won in the realm of pizza whistles, because ladies and gentlemen, do we have a couple of delish pizza whistles for you. Let's get a nice big look at these big old bad boys. In fact, you know what? I think that for your viewing pleasure, it would definitely benefit things if I move these just a little bit over here. Just like that. In the center. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever in your life feasted your eyes on something so beautiful? So beautiful. And look at how huge they are. Look at how huge they are. Look at just how unbelievably, ginormously massive these bad boys are. Now here's the thing. Typically with Kozibear's Cooking Season 4, I've tended to basically finish creating my dish, I'll finish doing any decorations or whatnots I need to do on it, and then I'll close out the stream without eating it. And this is mainly because I usually like to take pictures of my dish or dishes after the stream when they're unblemished and not yet eaten. But I'm going to make a little bit of an exception tonight because it is the last stream of the show. I'm going to completely clear my desk. Right now, you can't really see it, but basically I'm in the process of taking all sorts of things off my desk. I'm going to take my pictures, I'm going to do my due diligence and take plenty of pictures of my wonderful creation that's in front of us. And then, just for you, I am going to taste the hell out of this thing. Because I need to know how my delicious, well, I hope delicious, pizza whistles with Montreal innards came out. I was about to say toppings, but then I realized it's not exactly what I'm trying to say. Hold on, let me grab a swig of water. A huge shout out to Silos for the $13.37 tip. Wow, that is very elite of you. I truly appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Man, there's so much that I have to put on this desk whenever I do any of these streams. I feel bad for the remaining garlic butter. Maybe I'll figure something else that I can do with it. I'll move my little iPhone stand over here on top of my 3DS. It's mostly clear, but there are a few blemishes here and there. What am I going to do? Yeah, I should probably take a couple paper towels and just clean up a little bit. Silas says, my pleasure. I had to get one in if it's the final show of the season. Thank you. Of course, this is the final show of the season, but it's not the end of Kozibear's Cooking. There will be a Kozibear's Cooking Season 5 in the future. I don't have an exact date plan for when that's going to be. It will largely reuse a lot of the assets featured in this season's streams. It's not going to be a complete reinvention the way it was between season 3 to the current season now. But there will be some slight little modifications, refinements, improvements. I'll definitely take to heart some of the things that did work, some of the things that didn't work during the season, and make the best possible stream that I can possibly make. That is my intended goal. All right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom in on this bad boy again. I'm going to take a couple pictures using my handy dandy iPhone. In fact, I'm going to actually turn on another one of these lights over here to help with lighting. You know what? Normally I don't do this during the streams, but I'm actually going to turn on the backlights at the back of my basement just so I can further really whip out some good photos for afterwards. Just so you can get as much light in these as possible. Okay, let me turn the light back off. Okay, with that taken care of, I think it's time for us to finally taste test our creation. Let's grab ourselves a plate and let's see here. There we go. How hot is this still? Pretty hot, but if I just nudge it forward like this, it should be okay. Okay, now here's the thing. I used two different kinds of mustard sauces for these. One of these was the custom mustard sauce I made, and the other one was just brown spicy mustard, but I don't actually know which one I did with which. I want to say that this one was the first one, the one that I used the normal, or not the normal, but like the custom mustard sauce with, because this one over here, it looks a little bit more put together. Let's go ahead. Yeah, we'll try this one, and we'll ascertain as we cut through it which kind this one was. Oh, it's very cheesy. Very cheesy. Hold on, I have some cutlery over here. Unblemished cutlery. I did not use over the course of the rest of the stream. And again, I don't know exactly which one this is, but I want to say this is the one that I made with the mustard sauce. Okay. Still a little bit hot, so I'm going to use a fork and knife for this. All right. Oh, it's hot, but it's good. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm shocked. I was concerned it was not going to turn out well. But that actually came together really well. Wow. Huh. Okay. I was a little concerned. I was like, like I did a lot of research at the time into like how can I make this crazy idea for a dish as guaranteed to be as good as it possibly can be, but I didn't really know exactly how well it was going to turn out until I took the plunge. Let me try one of the more doughy end pieces. Good as well. The garlic butter is definitely doing a lot of work. All right, so like I said, I don't know with 100% certainty, but I'm pretty confident that one that I just ate from was the one with the custom mustard sauce that had like honey and mayonnaise mixed in. I think this one is the spicy mustard one. Let's give it a shot. Also, surprised by how well these guys turned out. I was concerned that the like 20 minutes and then the 5 minutes weren't going to be enough and it was going to be kind of unevenly cooked, but these are pretty well cooked. Pretty well cooked. Oh man, I'm actually really looking forward to having the rest of my family give this one a shot because like I think they're going to be really impressed with it. I don't think they're going to believe me when I tell them that I made this with mustard. Okay. Down the hatch. Very hot. It's very hot, but it's also very good. You can definitely tell that this is a slightly different kind of mustard. I don't really taste a lot of the spiciness. But I mean, that's not really a criticism because it's not like I love spicy food. Let's go ahead. We'll have another piece of one of the doughy parts at the end. I didn't like that dough piece as much as the dough piece on the other one, but you know what? I have something we can do to improve the taste overall, and this is the mustard sauce that we had left over. Let's do a little bit of a dipping party, shall we? Oh, it's interesting. I don't dislike the mustard sauce, but I think the mustard sauce was more successful inside the pizza whistle rather than as like something that I can use to dip it. Again, not bad as a dipping sauce, but not my favorite. Interesting. It's definitely something that I'm going to need to experiment a little bit more in the future, but I think I hit on something really interesting. But I'm going to definitely need to do more tests to figure out in the future, should I go with just like the spicy mustard or should I go with the custom mustard sauce that I made? Because both were kind of good in their own way. I think I'm leaning slightly more in the direction of the mustard sauce, the custom mustard sauce, but both definitely have their merits. Definitely something to think about, but man, shout out to the fact that on my last stream of the season, I made far and away, without even intending, the best dish I made this whole time. This is definitely one of the more daring dishes. I mean, a stromboli pizza thing that's shaped like a whistle and definitely not a dick, that uses mustard and Montreal-style smoked meat and all sorts of other weird things inside of it instead of the other things you would typically put in a pizza-like thing. It was a gamble, but it paid off. It was a calculated gamble that paid off, and I'm really, 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 really happy about that. Let me just check up on something real quick right here. All right, there we go. Well, I think we've arrived at the end of our stream for the evening. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into tonight's stream. Remember that this is Season 4 of Kozibear's Cooking, the conclusion of Season 4 of Kozibear's Cooking. Normally, this is where I would say that new episodes of it are currently streaming live every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/Kozibear live from now until March 13th, but it is March 13th. It's the end of this season, but there will be more seasons to come in the future. With regards to Season 5, I definitely want to pick up the baton at a point in time in the future where I definitely have way fewer things going on, and I need something to fill the gap, to feed the beast, because right now I have PAX coming up. I have a bunch of things that I want to focus on, so I think I'm fine putting this to bed for now. But in the meantime, you can watch past VODs about this season and the entirety of Season 3 of Kozibear's Cooking over at youtube.com/@Kozibear7231. And if you want to keep up with me outside of my streaming efforts, you can find me over on Instagram and Twitter at AlexKozina. That's ALEXKOZINA. I'll just go ahead and I'll plug those in the chat real quick. As is tradition on this channel, I'm going to be closing out tonight's stream by rating one of my fellow content creators. So let's go ahead and let's see who is currently available. I think that Frankfurter is currently available, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go and raid Frankfurter. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. This was a, in many ways, arduous, but in many ways, really fun season, and I'm looking forward to doing many more of them in the future. Take care, guys. And where's my phone? Because I gotta accept the thing to stream on my phone. Otherwise, the stream rate thing doesn't go through. Give me a second. And yeah, thank you, Silos. Thank you once again. Goodbye.